What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Neverfail, and I'm bringing you a multiplayer gameplay on the game StarHawk. And as you see, I did spawn in a little bit late. I was a little bit late getting back to the controller for this game right here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a StarHawk multiplayer review, and it's probably going to be in multiple parts because these games last 20 minutes, and I don't want to do a 20-minute video. But I have content, as far as what I want to say is going to take more than 20 minutes, and if I yawn, forgive me. But anyway, let's start things out. First things first. In Warhawk, you had capturable bases, and as you see, the enemy just captured a flag. And what you see right there, that green, this is a build a base, or build a base, build a battle type game. Instead of having capturable bases where each capturable base had weapon pickups and vehicle spawns, this game you have to build the shit you want. And the reason I do not like this one bit. And the reason behind that, and there's a very damn good reason behind it, is the simple fact being that, quite frankly, pretty much leads to people getting base rape, man. It really does. I know that on StarHawk or on Warhawk, base raping wasn't, a non-issue. It was definitely an issue still. But at the same time, it was less of an issue because, unless you were playing a team that was able to successfully come over to your base, steal all your planes, steal all your vehicles, then you still had planes, you still had vehicles that you could get into, and there was also missile turrets and weapon pickups like rocket launchers and all that stuff that didn't cost you anything to build. It didn't, you didn't have to save up rift points, and rift, as you can see up in the top right corner right now, I have two blue squares next to the triangle. That's my rift. And everything you buy costs rift. If you want to build a launch pad for a plane, it costs 6 rift, and then after the original plane is gone, it costs 2 rift to build an additional plane via that launch pad. Tanks, they cost like, I think it's 10 rift or 8 rift to build a damn tank launch thing, and then it's like 4 rift or something like that, or about to be 4 rift to actually buy a tank once one's been, the original one that spawns with it's been taken. And look at that flat gun. That flat gun is beastly, and we'll get more into that here shortly. And the whole rift system in general, like, I think it was an attempt to kind of add a new dynamic, sort of kind of adding a I can't talk, and that's bad when you're commentating, right? It was an attempt to add a new dynamic to the game. And while I applaud, Lightbox for trying to do that, trying to add new dynamics to the game, one of the things that made Warhawk so much fun was the battle over key bases. Like on the map Archipelago on Warhawk, the middle base had a lot of plane spawns, had 2 tanks, had jeeps, had a lot of weapons, had missile turrets, and it was right smack dab in the center of the map. So you would spend a good portion of the game trying to make sure you could control that, because you have to go through there to get the flag from somebody else's base. And pretty much all the maps had a base like that. It had a key base to be able to successfully win a game. And it didn't always have to be base. Ooh, look at that. That is just nasty. But it didn't always have to be, base rapes. You could get 2 good teams against one another, and boy, that's when it really got fun. Because the battles over those key bases would get very, very intense. And if you lost the key base, you would spend numerous resources and numerous lives making the attempt to get back to that and retake that base. And that's just something you don't have here. I mean, there's a outpost thing you can buy with Rift. And watch what I'm about to do. This is such a cheap fucking tactic, but it's so damn effective. There's no reason not to do it. And they're supposed to be patching that, nerfing the cluster bomb, and making it where you can't use stealth for as long, which is it's a great idea. It really is, to do that, and it would, in my opinion, will help. Because as you see, the cluster bomb is absolutely brutal. But in the same token, as we speak right now in the game's current state, the cluster bomb really is about the only viable weapon to use in air to ground. Mainly because, the flat gun is not too bad against tanks and jeeps. Sidewinder's a little more difficult because they're a lot faster, so they're a lot harder to get clean hits on. But at the same time, cluster bomb is the one that can kill them quick and get you the hell out of dodge, and take you out of harm's way. Which I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a bad idea to weaken them up, because it's not. I think for the strength that the weapon has in regards to destroying shit that costs a lot of rift to build, then yes, it should definitely be something that should be a little bit weaker. Or in my opinion, the way they should do, instead of weakening the weapon, is making it where there's only one weapon, only one pickup, and it's toward the center, a centralized spot on the map, and that it only spawns in like every 2 minutes instead of every 45 seconds to a minute, and that you only get 4, which is 1 volley, as opposed to getting 8, which is 2 volleys. And that way people will be more inclined to save them in the event that somebody is getting out with your flag, because it's the quickest and most effective way to take out a sidewinder that normally people come to get your flag with. That way you can actually have a strategic use for it without being able to just spam it. Because right now you can save it, and you can have 8 and load it up, and 16 in reserve, go into a enemy's main base, and absolutely just lay waste to everything they've built and destroy the whole team. And then they don't have enough rift to build shit to get out of the base rape, and base rape is on, and it's game over. With that said, I would like to see either have 2 main spawn bases, kind of not right close together, but not overly spread throughout the map, because if you do that, then you take away the need for the outpost, which the outpost is something, I'll be honest, I think I've seen, other than myself, I've seen a grand total of 3 of them ever created in the, I think, about 20, 25, 30 games I've played thus far, which just leads me to believe that this whole build-a-base system and the strategies that they're wanting people to use, it's just too much for random players to be willing to do it. And really, I think they just need to go back to having main bases that are capturable, that have weapon spawns and all that good shit. That way you don't have to like this right here, this thing costs 10 rift to build, and just like that I've destroyed it. And this way though, if you have capturable bases, then people are more inclined to be able to sneak out, get to one of those capturable bases, so now that you have more than one spot to spawn. And once you have multiple spots to spawn, it's harder for the team to base rape you until they can take that base back. Plus, for me, like I said, I really miss the whole battle over bases, essentially. I freaking miss having epic battles over bases like the middle base on Archipelago. Look at that, get destroyed by a rocket, never fail. You suck. And that's something that you're not going to get back with outposts, because once I see an outpost, if an enemy does build one, and I think I've seen 2 ever, I'm just automatically going to destroy it. So, and it's not that hard to destroy 1 volley of missiles for something that costs as much rift as it costs, which is retarded. And I don't like the whole rift system in general, because it unbalances the game to a great extent. Makes it where you have no opportunity to get planes whenever you got teams that are just better than your team. At least, on Warhawk, you had that opportunity to get in a plane or get in tanks, grab flamethrowers, and get the fucking tanks and the planes and shit off of your base. Nothing else, you could pick up air mines and drop them over your base, drop them around. At least, hopefully, you take out, a better pilot like that, or something, along those lines. Whereas on here, it's just pretty much, if you starting to get base raped, it's going to happen. You're not going to get out of it, mainly because they're going to have tanks on your base. The tanks are going to absolutely push your shit in and destroy everything you build before you can, and right there, you see what I just destroyed, which was a bio shield, basically. And it has a purpose, which it stops, people from being able to shoot into it without destroying the shield. I do believe the torpedo will destroy the shield, but it stops people from shooting into it without destroying the shield. And it would be a lot more effective if a plane had to go into mech mode in order to walk through it, as opposed to being able to fly in there and then drop into mech mode, because then it would actually really actually help in my opinion, because you'd have time to hit the damn mech before it could get in there. Anyway, this first part's about to wrap up. I'll come back with part 2 here shortly, and part 2 will be the remainder of this game, and then there might even be a third part, depends. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.